You remember Derek Chauvin. He was the officer who killed George Floyd on May 25th of 2020. And boy, what a summer that was. That was one hell of a summer, wasn't it? And that was, people just went crazy on both sides. All the protests and the riots and destruction of buildings and just all that mess that happened. Good gosh. I'm just glad I wasn't in the area. So, here's this. Derek Chauvin got stabbed in prison. Now, before I get into who stabbed him and what's going on with that, I'm going to tell you there's something that I've predicted, and it turned out to be correct. Now, this is where I will get disgusted with both sides when something bad happens to a particular person. Of course, a lot of people on the left, I would assume especially black people, were happy about this. I'm not going to lie and say that I'm happy about it per se. I don't think that I feel the worst about it, but not the best either. And I'd say, yeah, it's an unfortunate incident. That shouldn't have happened. I don't wish that upon anybody. I saw one comment that said, oh, I got my nails done today and they look nice. Wow. There was another comment that, again, I get why people might like the comment, but this is not the type of thing that I encourage or promote. One comment said, well, if he had just complied, this wouldn't have happened. In reference to what they say all the time about what black people should have done when they get attacked and beaten and killed by the police. I get the reference point to that. But again, they had to sneak in a little smart-assy remark, whatever. Now, who stabbed him in prison? A guy by the name of John Turscak. Now, this website, Patch, there's a staffer editor in there, William Bornhoff. He put on this website 5 things to know about the inmate accused of stabbing Derek Chauvin. A 52-year-old man serving time in federal prison has been charged in the stabbing of fellow inmate Derek Chauvin, the former Minneapolis police officer convicted in the murder of George Floyd. And by the way, that's another thing I want to say right quick. I probably should have said this part earlier. But so Derek Chauvin is serving 22 years in prison. Now, here's what disgusted me about the sentencing. And don't get me wrong, I'm glad he got convicted. And 22 years is way more time than I thought they would give him. I thought they were going to give him like 5 or 10 years. 22, I said, oh, that's amazing. Some people said it's not long enough, but hey, we live in America, so you got to take what you can get. He got 22 years for second-degree murder, and then he got another 20 years for violating George Floyd's federal civil rights. And so what I thought was supposed to happen, and I don't know who decided this, I don't know why they did this, and this is why I think concurrent sentences are complete stupid in certain situations. So he got 22 years for second-degree murder, 20 years for violating civil rights. So what do you think about that? You think, oh, so that's 43 years. That would be 42 years. That'd be 42 years only if he would have served those sentences consecutively. But instead of serving it consecutively, he's serving it concurrently. Now, most of you already know what that means. Some people are probably asking, well, what's the difference? Consecutively means if you're serving 2 sentences consecutively, they put all the years together and you're serving all that together. So 22 plus 20, that's 42. Instead, they gave him concurrently, and he's just going to do the full 22. So it's like he's being punished for this thing here at the same time he's being punished for the other thing he got sentenced for. If it was me, I would have just gave him the whole 42. But again, it's better than nothing. At least he didn't get acquitted. So just be grateful that he got convicted. Let's take what we can get for now. The attack happened at the Federal Correctional Institution in Tucson, Arizona, authorities say. On December 1st, the U.S. Attorney's Office charged John Turscak with attempted murder, assault with intent to commit murder, assault with a dangerous weapon, and assault resulting in serious bodily injury. Here are 5 things to know about John Turscak, the prison inmate accused of stabbing Derek Chauvin. Number 1, John Turscak is serving a 30-year sentence for crimes committed while a member of the Mexican mafia gang in Los Angeles, the Los Angeles Times reported. He led a Mexican mafia gang in the 90s and became an FBI informant in 1997. Turscak provided federal investigators with information and recordings of conversations he had with Mexican mafia members, helping prosecutors file more than 40 indictments. But the FBI dropped Turscak as an informant because he was still dealing drugs, extorting money, and plotting and authorizing assaults, the LA Times reported. Turscak pleaded guilty in 2001 to racketeering and conspiring to kill. Number 2, he was scheduled to be released from prison on June 3rd of 2026. The inmate now faces another 2 decades of prison time. Wow. So you're talking 30 years and an additional, so now, which he's most likely going to get convicted of this, that is going to be another 20. So, I mean, wow. So basically it's like you're doing 50 years altogether. And by the way, I know that's not exactly 30 years because he pled guilty in 2001. He's set to be released in 2026. So that means he got 25 years for that. So I guess he was on parole or whatever. So I guess they meant 30 years with parole. So they didn't put that part in there, but that's what I'm assuming. You know, just knowing the basics of the legal system, that's usually how that works. So 25 years plus another 20 years, 45 years. Oh, there's your consecutive sentences right there. I don't think they're going to give that man concurrent sentencing. I don't think they're going to do that. But at the same time, it's still kind of stupid. I mean, you're just taking away your entire life. I mean, God dang it, come on. He was scheduled to be released on June 3rd, 2026. The inmate now faces another 2 decades of prison time. Under federal law, attempted murder and assault with intent to commit murder violations each carry maximum penalties of 20 years incarceration. Assault with a dangerous weapon and assault resulting in serious bodily injury each carry maximum penalties of 10 years incarceration. Number 3, federal authorities accused Turscak of stabbing Chauvin 22 times with an improvised knife, also known as a prison shank or shiv. Turscak told correctional officers he could have killed Chauvin if they hadn't responded so quickly, according to prosecutors. No employees were injured and the FBI was notified. The Bureau of Prisons told AP. The faculty has about 380 inmates. Visiting was suspended. Number 4, Turscak targeted Chauvin because he is a high-profile inmate, prosecutors said. Turscak told investigators that he had been thinking about attacking Chauvin for about a month because he's a high-profile inmate, according to prosecutors. And number 5, the date of the stabbing was significant to Turscak, authorities said. Turscak also said that the date of the stabbing, Black Friday, was symbolic to the Black Lives Matter movement and the black hand symbol associated with the Mexican Mafia criminal organization, authorities said. Turscak is a white man, according to the Bureau of Prisons. Derek Chauvin, who's 47, was sent to the Tucson prison from a maximum security Minnesota state prison last year. He's serving a simultaneous 21-year federal sentence for violating George Floyd's civil rights and a 22 and a half year state sentence for second-degree murder. Chauvin's previous lawyer, Eric Nelson, it's almost done. Eric Nelson had advocated for keeping him out of the general population and away from other inmates, anticipating he could be targeted. George Floyd, who was black, died on May 25th of 2020 after Chauvin, who was white, pressed a knee on his neck for over 9 minutes on the street outside a convenience store where Floyd was suspected of trying to pass a counterfeit $20 bill. Bystander video captured Floyd's fading cries of, "I can't breathe." His death touched off protests worldwide, some of which turned violent and forced a national reckoning with police brutality and racism. Reporting from the Associated Press was used in this story. Get more local news delivered straight to your inbox. All right, so I know this is the part where a lot of the conservatives and people on the other side will sit there and say, oh, he didn't really kill him because his knee wasn't really on his neck, it was on his back, and the media did editing of videos and photos to make it look like it was on his neck, and plus the guy was on drugs. Just cut that crap out. I'm done listening to all those arguments. Call me a bigot if you want to, but I'm not listening to any of that. I refuse to discuss that and debate that. We saw what we saw. First of all, if a knee was on somebody's back, they wouldn't be crying, "I can't breathe." There's a reason why he was shouting, "I can't breathe." The guy's knee was on his neck. I mean, it was right there on video. You can go back and look at the video if you want to. I don't know if it's still up there because maybe it's possible that they took it down because too many people are upset and triggered by it because it is tragic. And it was also racist. And it was also, if the video's up, I don't know. I'm not going to go back and look at it because it's too upsetting for me. But again, what happened is what happened. Now, as far as this guy right here, Turscak, I mean, it's one criminal stabbing another. One criminal hurts another. I mean, this is criminal versus a criminal. Now, some people are saying, hey, I feel more sorry for Chauvin because he was stabbed 22 times and he could have been killed and he was hospitalized and then he was released from the hospital and got sent back to prison. And other people are saying, I feel more sorry for the other guy because at least he was a white guy who supported Black Lives Matter and he was targeting a racist white officer. I don't know. I'm not here to necessarily defend either one. You're talking about you were a gang member, later FBI informant. Now you're doing all this time in prison, and the other guy, again, I don't have to keep repeating that part. But so yeah, that's what happened apparently. And by the way, I don't know why they're saying that this is what he told prosecutors as far as targeting. I don't know why and again, this might be a legal thing that I don't know. I don't know why they're still saying allegedly or accused. Like, the guy said that he did it. He's like, yeah, I've been targeting this guy for about a month. I did it on Black Friday, support Black Lives Matter. But hey, it's whatever. So all I can tell you is that, and I want to tell my people on the left, it's like, listen, for as much as we might despise people like this, let's not, cheer about this. Like, oh, he killed an innocent black man, so now he might die and it's a good thing. Like, no, let's not go there. Okay, it's one thing to not feel sorry or to not feel sad or not cry about it, but we shouldn't be celebrating this. Let's keep the moral principles up front too. So but I just want to put that out there. So I don't know, check out the story. I'm sure there are other sources plenty of sources are talking about it. You want to learn more. We see this according to Patch. We see this according to USA Today, Minnesota Spokesman Recorder, Sportskeeda, Los Angeles Times, CBS Times. I mean, all this stuff is talking about it right now. So what's going to happen from this point? I don't know. Only time will tell.